Hello and welcome to the first inaugural London meeting of the IPFL managers, or four of them anyway. And this will be a round table discussion where we talk about each of the 10 teams and whereabouts they're currently sitting at. So first we should do some introductions, and starting from my right.
Justin Zanishnero of the Gladstone Grizzlies.
Sam Tucker of the Mafia Mob.
Aidan Meagle, one half of the Breakaway Horses.
Fluff, manager of the Tumbler Fluffs.
And we're not going to cut in on Maddie and Tony's magic. They do a great job on their preview. So we thought we would do a list deciding what have been the key decisions, and in particular the worst decisions made by each of the managers so far this year. So we're going to start with 10, which is the least worst decision of the year, and count it down to 1, which is the worst decision of the year. And we'll do a little bit of analysis as well on the side. So who wants to start us off?
Zig, let's go from right to left. Zig, kick us off.
Alright, so 10th, least worst decision of the year, Brew Crew. And couldn't come up with much, but not enough answer from the Brew Crew for mine. Not happy with it.
Very little.
So that's been their worst decision.
Yeah, and so they've got two managers. Between the two of them, they should be able to come up with a little bit more banter.
Bit of a nobody club, I say.
It is.
Did someone say Who Crew?
Yeah, it was
a Who Crew.
That was Fluff's former name for these the Brew Crew.
Their one redeeming feature was the bird is the word references earlier this year. That was clever, I thought.
Who do you think said that? Woodsy, surely.
Well, based on previous form, you wouldn't have thought Collies had come up with it, but unless he's made a new lease this year, who knows?
Who is Woody anyway? Who is Woody?
All I know is that he played for Williston, but I would like to see a podcast from him at some stage.
Maybe a manager profile. Maybe manager profiles could be the next.
Are you in London, Woodsy? Because you can come join us in King's Cross at the moment. We're currently live from the hostel too, which I probably should have mentioned at the start, so I apologise for the background noise and the beer drinking, but
never apologise for the beer.
It's much better than a boost juice, isn't it?
You bring up the drinking, we're just sponsored today by Carlsberg and of course Fox Sports, all that coverage for the IPFL.
And it's good to see the Fox Sports might make it all the way to Australia.
Yeah, first time on camera for myself and Fluff to my left.
Other than during the pre-season draft.
Oh yeah, pre-season draft, and I was on camera. Still yet to attend a pre-season draft myself. However, I'll get there one day. Up to 3, or we'll get there.
So I have maybe just add this in. What's a player from the Brew Crew which is really defines their season?
Well, that's a good question.
Very, very good question.
Let's make a segment of it, shall we?
Let's do this right.
This guy.
Who do you think? Off the top of your head, Aiden.
Probably Cale Hooker.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Why is that?
I just think Cale Hooker had a great start to the year. Well, first, Cale Hooker was a great draft pick. He was taken late, pumped out some 60s, 70s, maybe even a few 80s or 90s at the start of the year. But the last 4 or 5 weeks,
Essendon, do they play the chip game anymore? I think the Monarchs.
The other teams have been putting pressure on them.
I think they got to play the corridor a bit more.
I've got nothing wrong against drafting Essendon players. Just let me say that. So nothing wrong with that. Just a bit of a started off strong and now he's petering off, just like the cruise season. Started off strong and now he's petering off.
Well, let's hope he continues to peter and the finals.
I hope he comes back and I hope he wins against some of those clubs which I need him to beat. So it's a cavalry. So that was number 10. Sammy Tucker, if you'd like to say number 9.
Number 9. It's the man sitting next to me and the man in Germany. The brothers take on number 9 spot, the Breakaway Horses.
Darryl's.
It all started. The worst decision.
Should we put a poll on?
What's the horses called? The horses or the Darryls?
I tell you what.
It does have a good ring to it.
The Dazzers. Delisting Gaff and Gibson. What do you think?
So delisting Gaff and Gibson?
Gaff and Gibson.
Yeah, Gaff's certainly been quite good for the Tumbler Fluffs this season, I have to say.
And I'm sure Benny Knowles enjoying Sam Gibson's outfit too.
Just another gun for hard unit to poorly manage.
Do you think it was Gaff? Was he really living up to potential though? Would have you delisted it?
I feel like Gaff definitely copped a lot of tags last year. I don't think he's been tagged as much this year.
That's why we delisted him.
I don't
Because
think we got the
the worry of the tag made us very concerned with him, even though we kept him for us 2 years, had 30 odd games for us.
Probably fair enough.
Maybe it's a question. Who are some of the players you retained over the Gaffer Gibbs?
Well, you look at the bottom of our list, and the last 2 retentions were probably Cooney and Hickey, I think, of our 10. And
So I think
Cooney was a risk, but I think he's been serviceable, at least a pass.
Happily delisted him the year before. He did nothing for the mob, and he gets to you guys and he gets it.
Yeah,
What does that say about the mob though? Is that
Well, we just cut through it. You don't perform at 100%.
cut through? Or cut through or the cut snake? I'm not sure what the mob anymore.
We do have a cut
We'll get to
snake.
that later. We'll get to that.
Who would you, one player, Zig, pose you the
To
question.
define the horse's
Defines the horse's season.
Well,
Bear in mind, they got 7 ruckmen.
okay, so I was just about to mention Ruckman. So Ruckman and Luck. Combined.
Yes.
So good and Luck. So
So the Luckman, you say.
So which one? So Mark,
On fire.
if I was to say one player, off the top of my head, Mark Jamar.
Mark James.
What a great selection he was.
Okay, I'm going to chuck another question at Fluff. Past player. What past player would you describe the horses as? For me, Adam McPhee. Lucky to play.
I would have said more Darren Jolly or some other superstar.
Lucky to play in
Past.
200 games.
I would say Richard Champion for the 2 years. We joined Darryl Braithwaite in quite a medley, I'd say.
Well, that's true. They would build out some good tunes. But no, you have to look at one of our top draft picks like Jamar or Zach Smith.
Look, he's
Who've
done well
been
there. He's done
very
well there.
consistent.
And I like to
Helped
say
us
the
in
luck
this
of it.
position.
When I brought up luck because when recruiting in your rookies years ago, Jack News and Dom Tyson, do you think they've been the players they are today?
Oh, Dom Tyson was picked 2 or 3 in the draft, but if you'd asked me at the end of last season, I probably wouldn't have expected to play him too often this year. So very happy that Melbourne drafted him, and very happy he gets cheap stats in the halfback play.
One more question though. Who takes the reins in the horses?
Yeah, it's a good
It
question.
could not be 50-50.
Yeah, it's a very much a 50.
Both literally and figuratively, the reins of the horses.
The most important thing's draft day,
Yeah,
so
of course.
Rowan and I both put our top 100, 150 players in a list, then they're ordered based on our individual preferences, and we draft based on that. So,
Do you feel Rowan let you down?
well,
His
I
commitment.
let him down last year. I actually
we all
drafted
know.
off the wrong list.
Draft gate.
And the draft day,
So we all
and
know
so
what
that
it
cost us. But this year it's obviously worked well, and each week we sort of worked it out between us who selects the size, have a chat on Thursday, Friday about the fringe dwellers to fill up those 17th and 18th spots. So
Fair enough.
we show how a co-managerialship should occur, and looks like Woodsy and Collie have taken on that mantle too.
New trend.
Can Ashton join Justin in a permanent?
And I think we'll see that come finals time. If I make it, it works. If it doesn't,
From a single manager, the same as Fluff, you can probably back me up here.
Eligible bachelor manager.
single ready to mingle
I'm going to say
manager.
now the mob will never have a co-managerialship.
No, it's quite fair to say that Fluffs will. I'll hold the reins.
I would prefer to fold the mob
And
rather
as a
than
first
co-manager.
member, that's a bit scary. It's not much with that team. Alright, I think that's
Moving on.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
Moving on. The eighth worst. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 8th worst decision of the year was the hard unit and their decision to retain Main, Petrie and O'Keefe in particular. I mean, first, Chris Main, he probably shouldn't have been retained in the first place. He had a good year, but was he ever going to back it up?
Small forwards are always interesting.
Yeah. Drew Petrie, he's a key forward. They're likewise difficult to retain. You look at the trouble some other sides have had in retaining key forwards this
Bit of a
year.
theme there with the forwards.
And the third of them, Ryan O'Keefe. I mean, that's probably the most unlucky of the three.
The age though, what's the age?
Yeah, the age.
The young
But-
The age was the key.
But 31. But can I say,
33.
being the manager, you should know your players.
Yeah.
And I think our unit doesn't know his players, and it's shown. It's shown.
I reckon manager-player relationships is not there with you.
I'll pose a question.
Agree.
If you were managing that squad at the start of the season, where would you be seeing on that right now?
Oh, I'd like to think top 3. Well, I mean,
He's top three at the moment.
well, then he's done okay. I mean,
Should be
Is he really top 3?
Yeah,
Wow.
unfortunately.
but
Well,
yeah, look at the top
but
end of his list.
The top end, anyone with
He's
Gage.
got some that he's got probably the best top, very top end with high scoring, but then he's got probably one of the worst bottom ends.
Oh, the worst. I'd say the worst bottom end. I mean, Valentine. Who would
I
play
would say that's almost
Valentine
the
or
opposite
Main?
than a prawn.
Or
So good top,
Jake
bad bottom.
Milcham. Jake Milcham. I mean, he's
Continues to get a game. So.
Jake Angus Monfries. There's
Yeah,
blokes like
Gus
that
has been
that
unlucky.
get
He
games.
did it right for me last year. He got 50s, but this
He
year
was better last year.
Yeah, this year rubbish.
And I think he pulled his hammy at the wrong time. Gus.
But they got too many small forwards now for it. They got White,
This is defensive.
Kane Mitchell, the same sort of roles. They're not gonna. It's not gonna give the marking forward.
Yeah, agreed. Which leads us to the question of which player to pick as the
Best to describe.
Representative,
Yeah.
yes.
and Chris Main.
Yes, mate.
Chris Main, I would say. I mean,
Chris
it's funny he's sitting third overall. Chris Main probably isn't good enough to be sitting third overall,
But
but
think about it, Chris Main is just started to find some form.
Yeah.
So
and he's the hard unit to starting to find some
form.
Well,
unlikely.
I did like the comment in the sliding door segment, which was said that the unit will shake things up in the finals. If they get there, and they're a solid part of it, they will shake things up.
They've got a chance.
Certainly a possibility.
Anyone with that top end.
Let's bring us to the 7th worst